pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
John, are you willing to take notes again tonight?
Yes. Roll call, John, here. Carolyn?
Here.
Tom? Here. Bob?
Here.
Rob?
Here.
Can I say one thing real quick, then I'll shut up? Patty was over this afternoon, she says to tell you all hi.
That was nice of her. If you see her, say hi back.
Yep, same here.
Okay. Thank you.
Item 4, we need to identify candidates for the 4-month appointment of the town clerk position.
Yes. I received an email, which I've now given to all of you. So you can read who it's from and all about it. I don't know how you do this. I've never approached this. Now you just talk about who it is and what have you. Since is there anybody here in the audience that wants to volunteer? Okay. This letter is from Tanya Holcomb. Most of you probably know her. She emailed me this, and I made copies for everyone. Current items to consider from a clerk's perspective. DNR recycling, I think she's put it in a nutshell here of all the things that need to be done before the end of the month, which is very shortly. There's the DNR recycling annual report due May 2nd. ARPA interim reporting due April 29th. Tax C form CT due the 31st. There is an automatic, I guess you can extend it to May something, I don't know what that is. But spring election reconciliation and recording of participation due 5/4. Board of Review training for ward members and recording on DOR website. Posting of Board of Review legal notice. 1099s due, I don't know, there must be some follow-up on that. 1099s due January 31st.
Those are future things.
Yeah.
1099 is
Okay.
future.
Okay. 941s due April 30th.
I think the one that she's getting, is there 31st for this month?
No,
You
there
think
is
so?
one, is
No.
No, I
Right,
didn't think so. Yeah,
Okay.
That's January 31st.
well, it's January 31st is what she has on here.
You
said April
you said
31st
April
for
31st.
something.
No,
Okay, so the
Oh, yeah.
941s due April
March
30th.
31st.
Yeah. So. So she is definitely, by this letter, is interested in helping us out.
Mm-hmm.
I did, if you got a second, we just don't talk. I did call the county, and they do not have anyone that's like in the pool or whatever that could come down and help us. It is up to us to find someone. She said if you cannot find someone that will actually kind of take the position, then you're kind of in the forced position of hiring like a, Yeah, hiring like a firm to take care of it for us, or an individual that's more of like an accountant, to work the numbers and stuff. Obviously, they won't be able to do the kind of the clerking and stuff of the regs and everything, moving that, they won't know anything about that, but they'll be able to at least pay your bills and do things like that. And I did reach out to one more clerk in the county just to see if she knew of anybody, and she also didn't know of anybody that would be interested.
It says in here, I would be happy to consider assisting in the clerk position. I still have the credentials of clerk and can help with the election setup. I would be able to assist getting things cleaned up and potentially auditing the transactions from January 2022, as well as trying to get the regulatory reporting brought current, which is all that list I just read. So there's a lot.
I make a motion to appoint Tanya Holcomb to a 4-month clerk appointment, and that a new permanent clerk be appointed at the regularly scheduled August town board meeting.
To think though, we have to wait till 6 for that, right? 4 is just identify, right?
Oh, you're right.
Sorry.
My apologies.
What was it, Gretchen? What did he said
I
that
was
the
just
next,
identifying
Yeah.
people right now,
oh,
so then on number 6 here is where we actually.
yeah, okay, okay.
Maybe it would have been
okay.
more appropriate for me to identify then vote, identify then vote. My
Okay.
I don't know.
Anybody else have any other information on anybody?
Does anybody know of anybody that is
Where
interested?
where did you advertise?
I have not myself advertised.
It was up on McMillanNews.com, welcome to McMillan.com.
I don't do the welcome. I didn't see anything posted out at the,
And it was on the town of McMillan.com website.
no.
Weren't you gonna run a thing in the Marshfield News Herald, or whatever the hell they call that paper?
No, we
Well, we
decided
will
not
for the
time.
for the permanent one, but for the short-term one, we.
Oh, I see.
'Cause I thought you guys were gonna post them.
It is, it's out on
We did.
And at the posting locations.
Just to post
Put up,
locations.
the same day as the agenda.
Yes, yes.
Has this person been a clerk before?
She was here.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's why we kind of already know her.
Yeah, but she quit midstream.
Yeah, well, that's happened more than once.
A lot.
A lot.
I think, when you get somebody in there, you'll probably find a lot of these things have already been, like the election thing's probably been reconciled. These are things that you guys never knew as once you.
I think Patty was working on that the
Right.
last days when she was here.
Right, so, these, a lot of these things
Hopefully,
will maybe be answered already.
yes. Yep.
We just at this time have no idea where it's at, what's done, what isn't done, so.
Yep.
so if this Tanya person is interested and willing to take it, can we get something in writing from her that she'll stick it out for the 4 months, that in 2
Well, I
months she
think that-
doesn't?
I think that's what she's saying. And what she said here, what did she say here? Did I? Was I? Considering, I would be happy to consider doing the clerk for, for the interim. So that tells you the 4 months, as she saw it. And so, she also did give me the name of another person who I asked her if she knew of she said, I think she's going to be available. She's a clerk in another township, but it's going to be where it's an elected position. And she's going to be moving into our area, closer here to us than the other one, and would possibly be interested, but I said, well, please contact her and have her come tonight if she can do that. But she hasn't shown up, so therefore, I think that, you know, this, I think what we need to consider is that that she is willing to do this for the time being, but we then, as we come close to the 4-month period, will advertise for, put it out, like in the newspaper and what have you,
I think,
and move from
I
there.
think we'd advertise right away. Absolutely. I mean, we need to find somebody full-time, and if we advertise it, the quicker the better, I think. And even if, they might be able to start earlier, and then we can get a full-time person in earlier. And that's one thing I think we should have a discussion with, if Tanya does take this, that if somebody is available to take full-time, she's okay with that.
I think that should
And
be,
I
I would
I would
guess, I
guess so
think,
also.
you know,
But I do think we have to advertise for that full-time person immediately. We need to get a full-time person in here.
Was Tanya elected or an appointed clerk in the town of Cleveland?
appointed.
Pardon?
I think, I don't know, I can't tell you that.
Because
Well, if,
I know that she was their clerk.
well, she
up until-
resigned.
I know,
Yeah,
just
so
before
that,
their annual
you know,
meeting.
but I don't know whether she was
Yeah,
elected.
see, I didn't know
or-
if they were elected, or I thought they were in the elected position over
They may
there.
have been, but she resigned over there, so she's available here then.
I got a name of a guy that, he's the clerk over in the town of Dave Kraus.
Yeah,
He's a hell of a good guy. Now, I don't know if he would be interested in doing both. He ain't gonna give up town of Dave. But Patty was clerk for both places at that time, so. Kraus, you give him a call, just,
I think Tanya was both places too for a while, correct?
yes, she was. Mhm.
'Cause I-
he's a hell of a nice guy. He went to Columbus High School, graduated in 1967, along with me.
Boy, are you old.
I feel it.
Way too.
You look good for your age.
But I'm 94,
Did you hear that?
but
You said you look good for your age.
I was born in
94. Hey, Bob.
I was born in
How do you feel
67.
about 4 flat tires from the old guy? I'd rather not say that, put some asshole to do it.
Okay,
That's
let's continue with that.
So, okay.
So you ready to move on to the next item?
Yes,
No one else to identify candidates for the 2-month appointment for the town treasurer's position.
I had talked to one individual, and he is interested. He said that he's going through some health issues right now, and if we don't find anybody, to give him a call. But right now, because of his health issues, he'd prefer not to do it, but if we cannot find anybody, to do it. And a little bit of background on this guy, he's from Chicago. He moved up here about probably 10 years ago. He lives out in River Edge Golf Course subdivision off of 10 out there. He was the head accountant for Sears for I don't know how many years. He retired from there. So, nice guy, very
Did you say Sears?
for Sears.
Well, that ain't a good recommendation.
Well, I think it is.
No,
It wasn't that time, right?
I think they were a giant. But anyway, so he's one name, one guy that I talked to, and if we need somebody, if we can't find somebody, he'll see what he can do to help us out.
Were you gonna share his name or?
I suppose I could. Mike Smith is his name.
That's a good generic name. Good job.
Sounds like a.
It took me a minute. I don't know if his son, Dave Smith, he's a therapist up at the clinic. And that's why he moved to Marshfield, is to be closer to his grandkids.
Dave Smith is the one you're talking about, is that what you said?
That's the same.
Dave is the son,
Oh, okay.
Mike is the father.
He was my therapist up there for one day with my knee.
Yeah,
Pretty nice guy.
very nice guy, yes. Yep, good family.
He didn't like me, but that's all right, I give a shit.
He's order off the
Yes,
back.
Cindy? Huh?
Like anything else here.
You're contemplating?
No,
No?
it's just the glasses, Carol.
Oh, I see.
It looks like I'm contemplating.
Okay.
And this is 2 months, why only 2 months? The other one is 4, I don't know, what's the cycle here?
The 4 was because of, to get them through the election cycle in August.
Oh,
For the request of the county clerk, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, to have someone at least that knows what they're doing to get it through the August election.
Because I believe some of the election stuff already starts in June and July. So, and then you have to also be trained, so that was the reasoning that I was given.
And I think I think that both of these people from the other one here that I see said be willing to help to fill this position as soon as possible, because it's only a 2-month period, is the reason.
But there's nothing saying that at the end of the 2 months, they can't apply for the full position.
Correct.
I mean, it's
That's-
kind of like a
that's
probationary period for any job.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there anyone else to be identified that's interested in the position?
Was the one from the email Carolyn identified, Donna Sotelo?
Mm-hmm.
If there's not, we move on to number 6, discussion and possible vote on qualified individuals. You have individuals, but individual, I think, right? To fill vacant clerk position. I guess it would be individuals.
So now I'll make a motion to appoint Tanya Holcomb to an up to 4-month clerk appointment, and that a new permanent clerk be appointed at the regularly scheduled August town board meeting, and quickly posting for full-time clerk. Quickly posting an advertisement.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
So, if we're all okay with this, then you give her a call then tomorrow and,
Yes.
okay. So do we meet with her then, or is this it?
It's kind of up to you guys. I mean,
Okay.
in reality, out of this is, I mean, because we're doing this so quick, in my opinion, that when we go to the full-time position, I think that we should probably make a, what I want to say, I don't want to say group, but where there's just 2 people that go and do the interviews and bring all the data back to
Well,
us.
Do it as we have done in the past.
Yes.
That's you appoint a committee.
A committee, that's what I was looking at.
A committee, and they take in and it's not any of us, it's people within the community, and they do the interviews, and they come forward with their recommendation, and then that's the way it's.
Okay.
it's-
But within this short period of time, there's just no time to do any of this
Okay. Yeah,
I mean-
it's more curiosity. I don't know how this goes and,
Mhm.
and, I definitely like.
Well,
to
this is a real
meet
learning
these people.
experience
It's-
here.
This is,
Yeah.
it's, you know,
Thrown into the fire.
okay. That's all I had.
Any other discussion?
I do think that I called her to talk about this then, when she sent me this note. And I said, well, you know, if someone that would come in to us, you know, like this person she said thought would be interested, if you could get that person to come in, to move on, I said, would you be willing to help her? Because Tanya knows all of the computers and all that here that we have in the program. And so that you could get that other person in, you know. So, I mean, that would be a consideration.
Okay.
Even so, it could be less than 4 months, it may be that she would.
Yeah, I think at our next town board meeting, we need to have that as an agenda item to talk about the committee and the timing.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
we would wanna have that person identified and then have an overlap where she can train. and
Exactly.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
it's not her.
Perfect, yes.
Great idea.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Since there is none, let's vote.
Roll call?
Yeah.
John, aye. Carolyn,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Rod.
Aye. Item number 7, discuss and possible vote on qualified individuals to fill the vacant town treasurer's position.
I make a motion to appoint Donna Flotilla to an up to 2-month treasurer appointment, and that a new permanent treasurer be appointed at the regularly scheduled June town board meeting, and posting for a full-time treasurer be advertised quickly.
I'm confused. When we did the identify candidates, the only candidate we heard about was the gentleman in ill health. We didn't hear Donna Satala's name at that time.
Yeah, we did, yeah,
Yeah, we did say it.
yeah,
Carolyn did.
yeah.
She
I'm
did.
just saying,
I don't need a hearing aid, but honest to God, I didn't hear it.
Here you go.
She did say it.
I don't need one. Okay.
Here, Donna.
I didn't hear it either, so.
Okay.
You know, but you guys, and I keep stressing this, you guys got all these microphones sitting there, and it's a son of a bitch listening, hearing people. You always talk in your hand. Bob, you got a soft voice, well, the only one that I can understand most of the time is you. So, you know, it would really be helpful, I mean, if you
It is on, and you're right.
you guys gotta talk louder. I mean, if you want us to hear what the hell you're saying,
Yeah.
You're right. Sorry.
yeah, talk into it.
And they note in here, she said that she would be willing to help to fill this position as soon as possible. And I am aware that this is a temporary need. So I think, you know, the plan is for us to proceed.
Right, you do understand that she was fired from the position she held, that position, back in the past. I think that ought to just be on the record. There was a hearing, she had an attorney, there was an attorney representing one of the board members, and there was an attorney that ran that hearing, and she was fired.
She was fired when?
Where was it?
Back in the middle teens.
Where?
She has been our treasurer since then.
She came back then?
Yes, yes, yes. because that she was never charged, because that was not done with anything. So,
Criminal charges weren't brought, she was fired from the position.
Criminal
And that's because the criminal charges, the people on the board at the time decided that they didn't want to do that. I'm pretty sure that was a mistake. We suffered a lot with that woman, just for what that's
well,
worth.
the attorney that you had working for you never signed any of the papers, so therefore it was.
No, he was working for the township,
He was the one working for the township.
yet not working for me.
Well,
Can I just
Okay.
interject real quick here?
Yeah.
Can I do a second on this so that we can have discussion,
Yeah.
because we never did a second, then we can jump back in, sorry, but I'll just second that so that we can have discussion. Sorry. So,
No, that's fine.
okay.
I just thought this shouldn't go unnoticed.
So where was this?
Here,
It was right there, it was all done right there at that dais.
So it was in the town of McMillan.
It was
Oh, yeah.
at that dais, it was done here, right in this room.
Yes.
So she was fired for what, and what criminal charges were not
She
brought
was the
against her?
past treasurer.
They made
was
it, she was the treasurer and the clerk. And it was right after that the clerk and treasurer positions were divided, because she was 2 of the 3 signatures on all the checks.
and the money orders.
Then there was another series of things, that the issue, maybe it was unfortunate that the people involved didn't decide to do everything that could have been done. They made a decision not to charge her criminally. But that was an option. So she was given a pass, is basically what it was. And then we divided the clerks and
What was
treasurer's positions, so there was one of each, not one person doing both jobs.
What were the conditions of the termination? What were the?
She was
conditions
never to
that
be
resulted-
rehired, actually, but then, as I kind of looked at or heard about how this was carried out, is that once they divided the clerks and treasurer's position, then she was never to be rehired as a clerk treasurer, is what I was told.
And one of the charges I remember was failure to follow the instructions, failure to post hours. There's a list. You know,
So this is why I'm so adamant that the minutes be available to the public.
I'm sure they are. The trial would have been also, there was minutes taken at the trial.
I would be, I mean, if you can send me the minutes, I would be.
I don't have them, John. They
It's
would
part,
be in
it's
the
part of
office.
this, it's part of this township's record.
Right, I don't have them.
What I'm saying is that they're not available to the citizens. They're not even available to the supervisors.
Sure
Yeah, they are,
would be,
they're
but
in whatever the records that are kept are, that's where they're at.
But we're right here trying to make a decision tonight and we don't have access to this information.
Go hack the computer, you did it before.
I did
Oh,
not
that's
hack the
true.
computer, George,
order.
and I don't appreciate you
Please,
slapping me.
order.
I don't care what you appreciate, I'm telling you. If you really want to know and get this information, go out there and hack the computer like you did. I'm not gonna let that one ever lay without, that's fact, because that's wrong.
Okay. So, again, we don't have this information available to us. I don't, I'd like to corroborate this accusation.
Russ Weichelt was the chair at that time. Robbie Wagner was on the board. Rick Dewar was there had to be one of the supervisors prosecute because he had to recuse himself from voting. Rick Dewar was one of the supervisors. Clarence Ortell was one of the supervisors. Have I got
Dave
it?
Swenson.
And was Dave Swenson on
I'm pretty
that
sure
time?
Dave Swenson was.
You could
That's what it was.
speak with any of them, I'm sure they'll talk to you. Just kind of FYI.
But again, I would like to have the official record from the minutes. That's the official record.
Well,
If I call these people up, sure, they can tell me whatever
they
want.
might have a
But like-
copy, I don't know. That
Right,
you
but
have to
that's
ask
what I'm
them.
saying, is that it's important for the public to have access to the minutes of all of the meetings for the history of the town, and that's not occurring right now. The minutes, I was on the townofmcmillan.com website trying to get minutes for
Well, the minutes cannot be posted until they're approved. That's why we don't post the plan commission meeting. When you guys get them, they're unapproved at this point, same as, you know, your
Right.
last
He's
meeting.
Well,
he's talking
middle
about at
teens
the time.
minutes.
But at that time,
The middle teens would have been
you
approved by
probably
now.
didn't even live in this township at
So
that
what
time,
happens
but
if we
I,
don't?
You know,
I
they-
didn't,
they-
but I'm concerned
I'm
now
sure
because
they're
it's being brought up
available.
now. They're not available. I was on the.
they would be in
Ask
the,
Carolyn, she was sitting there at that, when that whole thing went on.
Whoa, 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 let's settle.
Let's
Yeah,
get back
yeah.
to,
Okay, do we, I'm gonna show my age now, do we not have paper copies of these minutes in a file cabinet year by year, month by month?
there should be.
There should be.
So where's that file cabinet? Back here?
nope,
It's in the clerk's.
clerk's office.
Cause this whole business of not having, I mean, it's frightening to me when you say you don't even know where to look for minutes. That scares me. I mean, you're running the town, but yet you don't have anything that happened 2 months ago? What the hell? I don't understand that.
It's in the office, yes. All of that stuff is in there. It's all
Okay,
on
so
file.
you do have access to
Yes.
it? You just don't have it?
No, we don't yet at
You
this point.
cannot get at it right
At
now.
this, that's why
We can't get in
that's
the
why
clerk's
we're
office.
doing this right now, to get in someone right now, so
You
that,
can't get in the clerk's
I
office?
thought the attorney said that night that board members had access to the office, and you were in there. That was
After
what was
that
said.
night, I am not stepping foot in that
Well,
office.
I don't blame you, Tom,
Period.
but I mean,
Not
that,
until we get a clerk appointed and that clerk can be in there with me, I will not go in that
I
office.
don't blame you at all.
Wow,
I mean,
this is
'cause
more
this
toxic
is-
than I
this-
ever dreamt.
This is
Yes.
what, you know,
It
we
is.
were all taught, that is
Absolutely.
clerks to be.
Well, I would certainly think you guys as a board, you would not want to approve something until you're sure of it. And just what Bruce got done saying, and Carolyn, you were at that, whatever you wanna call it,
Hearing.
trial or whatever the hell you call it. And the results were exactly what Bruce said. I sat through the whole thing, I listened to the whole smear. So I don't see where you would wanna make it
There's,
an appointment or whatever you wanna call it, without having all the facts,
yeah,
which would be in the office or whatever.
and
That would be the proper way to do it.
they're only at the point of discussion, George.
Hmm?
They're only at discussion now.
I understand
They haven't done
that.
their vote yet.
And I'm discussing it also. I wasn't even gonna say nothing tonight, I was just gonna sit here and look good. That ain't gonna work, is it?
At age 94.
there is another option out of this deal too. The clerk's position is the thing that we really, really need to get done tonight to move forward. I do not believe that the treasurer's position, I mean, it is critical also, but it does not have to, that decision does not have to be made tonight.
right,
So with having a clerk, we can get those records so that if you as board members would like to read through all of that we do have, you could read through it. We're gonna be having another meeting, I believe, May 4th we can do it afterwards or before the board of reviews. And that's only a little bit down the road, not super down the road. If that helps you guys out that way. And also we can find out the health, I mean, the guy with the health issues, if that would be something, I mean, if the 2 months and then you'd like to take it over, or if rather do it right away, or, I mean, because I think that's a couple of questions to ask him also to find out which way he would like to do that.
I'll get more in depth with him. You know, when I just talked to him on the phone, I called, left him a message, he was out of town, he came back, he called me, and he told me what he was going through, and he just felt that with what he was going through, he didn't know he wanted to extend the energy to this right now.
Right.
But he didn't say no, but, so, I can have that conversation, but I would, yeah. So is that something we're gonna table?
Mhm.
You're
Well,
gonna try to-
There's a motion on the floor,
That's
so,
On the floor right now.
Yeah.
so it's not up to me whether we table it, it's up to the person that made the motion.
Amend your motion.
I would like to withdraw my motion.
Could you repeat that? I didn't hear you talking.
I would like to withdraw my motion.
And then you wanna make a new one? Or somebody wanna make a motion to,
Table it.
Revisit.
Yeah, I make a motion, we table the treasurer appointment, pending further information on the candidates.
you're gonna set a time?
Or do you wanna leave it up to me to, I mean, we don't know exactly when we're gonna get this information either. So
Okay.
if the fourth doesn't work, then, I
Okay.
mean, obviously we gotta do
I
it
was
sooner than
thinking
later,
I
but
was thinking a regular board meeting, because that's only 2 weeks. If we can get by for 1 week, we should be able to get by for 2 weeks.
I guess I'd just like to talk to Tanya and what her feeling is of operating without a treasurer. I mean, just so that, I mean, I know that certain things can be done also, but it may tie her hands on other things that need to be done too. So I'm just, before we push it too far
It's
down the road.
not dire to do that, I guess.
No, not tonight anyway.
Yeah.
So the motion was to table number 7, and was it until the regularly scheduled board meeting or the? board-
Yes, regularly scheduled board meeting
I'd second that.
in May, excuse me, in May.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Since there is none, let's vote.
Kokel, aye. Carolyn?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Rod?
Aye. Next thing on the agenda is the resolution for the bank account signers. Were you able to come up with a document for us, John?
Yes. The townofmcmillan.com did have minutes from the July 8th, 2019 meeting, luckily for us. So there was a bank resolution that I could do. So I also have that on a thumb drive, so I can make edits to it. I can always go home, change it, print it off, bring it back.
Could you repeat that again? You're talking about-
I have this document on a thumb drive that I can go and edit it and you know,
For
print
future.
it off.
Do you have one more?
You can have this one?
You have one? I can share with Tom.
Okay. No, I don't need one, I drafted it.
Would you, just for the audience, would you like to read this, John?
Read it.
Sure. Town of McMillan, Marathon County, Wisconsin, resolution number 2022-427. I chose that number because I don't have access to the prior resolution numbers, so I don't know what number that we're at, but I would imagine that we're not at 427. Appointing authorized signers for Associated Bank. Whereas the town of McMillan maintains certain accounts with Associated Bank which may include and is not limited to checking, savings, certificate of deposit, currently held or open upon approval of the board. Whereas according to Wisconsin statute, section 66.0607, sub 6 and sub 7, the town board may adopt signers for the local depository accounts. Now therefore be it resolved by the town board of the town of McMillan, Marathon County, Wisconsin, that it hereby grants the following the power to endorse checks and other orders for the payment of money or otherwise withdraw or transfer funds on deposit with Associated Bank. The signatures of 3 of the following authorized signers shall be required: Tanya Holcomb, clerk; Rodney Bauer, chairperson; Robert Spring, supervisor; Thomas Seifert, supervisor; Carolyn Opitz, supervisor; John Kokel, supervisor. Be it further resolved that this authorization shall take effect April 27, 2022, and shall remain in effect until such time that the board acts to rescind it. Be it further resolved that this resolution supersedes all previous pertaining to Associated Bank, adopted by the town of McMillan, or adopted by the town board of the town of McMillan, Marathon County, Wisconsin, at its duly called meeting on April 27th, 2022, in the town of McMillan, a quorum being present. Adopted, approved, and recorded April 27th, 2022. Rodney Bauer, chairperson, will sign it. The attestation will be from the clerk. And it will be posted. And it will be posted.
I have a question. How does Tanya's name get on there with?
When you decide tonight.
Where
It's,
it's
right now
it's blank.
Okay.
It's blank.
Yeah.
On this form, it's blank. He just read it.
Oh,
And said it will be her.
Yeah, it's not actually on.
well, you can understand my concern.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yes.
Yep.
Is there any further discussion on this?
Yeah, so for disclosure, I put a blank for treasurer also. I imagine that we should put some sort of like not applicable or nobody or something like that in there, just
Just an A for now.
Yeah.
When we appoint a treasurer, that'll have to be added.
Everybody on this then will be able to get in either tomorrow or Friday to get signed? Because I
Yes.
believe that everyone has to be signed in before the card works at the,
What time did it close?
it's the one at Festival, if you wanted to look that up there.
I'm just trying to look at my schedule.
Well, it's just if one of us, or if Bob isn't available, or one of us isn't available,
Yeah,
then
I
strike the name and then.
Depending what time they open, otherwise I could probably make it Friday afternoon.
Well, if the rest of us can sign, he can still go in and sign at a time when he can do it, yeah, right?
I don't know from the last time, from what Patty told me, if everybody had to be signed on it before it would take effect with the bank.
Oh,
That was my understanding.
oh,
Because I know that there was quite a rush, because I know there's quite a rush to get everybody signed,
I was the
so.
last one, and they were calling me, and I was out of town, and I just made it before they closed.
oh,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
okay.
it was,
And we do have payroll for
Yes.
Friday.
Yeah,
So it's 8 AM to 5 PM tomorrow, Friday. I could do it at 8 AM tomorrow, otherwise it's gonna be after 3 on Friday.
Okay. So then, all in favor of the resolution?
Roll call, John? Aye. Oh, Carolyn?
yes.
Tom?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Rod?
Aye. Resolution passes. Need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Ayes have it, we're adjourned.
I do have a question here. Who is the legitimate person to attend the Board of Review? Have you taken the test?
Yes.
So you are. Is yours is good? So none of
As
those,
far as I know, yes, and the reason that I just say as far as I know, I took the test, I did everything that way, I got everything into Patty, and I believe that Patty had gotten everything completed, all paperwork done, and I don't believe anything was, rejected back or whatever, I believe that it is all done.
I would hope that, Tanya is, since she just resigned from her other, that there has to be two people, at least two people, that have taken the test and certified for the Board of Review. So you alone is not enough. And it would be a good idea if these other three, excluding myself, or somebody, anyway, all of us, you should have it.
But it is a deal, just for everybody's record, too, it is something that you have to do every year. It is not it's not the 2 years like it used to be, where you took it and did it every other year, you have to do it every year.
Really?
So even though I did it the year before,
So there may not be any of us, except Tanya.
Right.
well, and myself, because I did mine this spring.
Oh, you did it
It had
this
a deal
way,
with the
okay,
Eagles,
yeah,
and I was
okay,
there, so,
okay.
I went through and did all that, so. The time he's got hers done, otherwise, yeah,
Okay.
somebody's gonna have to study up a little bit and watch the video and.
How much time does that take?
Takes a little while. Not a great deal of time, if you're,
Probably like 2 hours, I think.
You're a quick half hour for you.
yeah,
3 for me.
so. Okay, well, Tanya can get this, the information to get that done.
Okay.
Thank you.
So when does she start then?
Tomorrow,
Tomorrow?
After Ryan talks to her.
sign the papers.
Yeah, she has to sign papers and swear and everything.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I would just have a question
Yes.
for my education.
Yes,
Board of Review, what's that?
okay, and
Basically, the best thing with the board of review is we had an open book, and that's where everyone can come and take a look at their taxes, and I believe they're able to see property taxes, and I think they're able to see their neighbors, I think, out of that, when that happens there, so that they can compare their place to somebody else's, and if they basically say, no, mine is not being taxed properly, it's not evaluated properly, then they come to this meeting. But they already had to have filed paperwork with us
with the assessor.
with the assessor to move forward into this next one.
I thought that's what it was, but I just wanted to be sure.
And then also at that time, if no residents show up, the assessor shows us his books and everything that he's done. And if we have any questions on how he's done things, why things are done, then we ask him at that time.
It can be like a hearing, because if somebody is really objecting to what they are assessed, that you have to go through all that paperwork and have it that night for the Board of Review.
If you had a deck on the back of your house and the assessor charged you 10 grand for it and you don't like it, that's where you come and debate.
I'm not even sure the assessor knows I have a deck on the back of my house.
Lucky you.
Because it's
I'm
only,
gonna
because
tell
it's
you,
only
he's-
been there for 3 years, so I don't even know if he knows it's there.
Don't bring it up.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Just saying, just saying.
Let's
Just
just
saying.
see
An
the dogs
example.
fly. Yeah.
Shit, I was getting assessed for my hot tub, for Christ's sake, and the thing was at Puke 5 years ago.
Yes.
And it shouldn't have been. I should have been getting assessed for that hot tub.
Oh, that's the last guy.
Because I don't know, you never see
No, not with the new guy. The new guy's good.
A lot of times though, he'll go through and he does outside, walks around the outside of buildings and stuff. I mean, he'll do.
But don't they have to let you know that
Good
they're
job.
on your properties?
They
I mean, that would
They
seem,
come up and, they may not walk, you're right, he may not know that the deck is on the back, because, I mean, but they'd still walk up to your front door. Anything that he sees while he's
thought about
on the road or,
I see.
You think
But they really can't just nose around your
No.
place without.
No.
I mean,
No,
what a
they're
shock.
not supposed to.
and like in,
You couldn't hear what she
his
said.
case,
I can't hear
you're also
all of these.
supposed to tell
The rest
us
of us can't either.
when you get rid of something that's of value. so that it can be reassessed. Yep, you got rid of it.
I am
no longer
looking at
have
that.
it, and then it can be taken out. I mean, it's a two-way. You're supposed to tell us when you build it, with the building permits and everything, and then also you have to take it off. And
I'm curious.
that's the only thing. And then every few years you go around and do a complete assessment.
Because this was all pre-planned, they wanted to get rid of it.
think?
Judy, they Google Earth, they know everything you got there.
My wife is gonna be so proud of you when I tell her.
I don't have these close lines.
Yeah, I know, I tell her, I had to talk it up.
I should get rid of it, I don't use it.
What's happening tomorrow?
Butchers.
So that was,
Oh, I don't know, she's sicker than a dog. She come back from Vegas with her cold. She slept on that truck. Man, we got back about 3 o'clock, and she
Can
crawled
I
in
talk
the
to you
bed.
about some,
And then she crawled in the bed, or she slept in the chair, and she crawled, slept all night until, I bet you it was 10, 11.
I've got some beds I
Just off.
I need to talk to the two of you. I don't care about you. I have some things that's been going on.
Yeah, she had
I think
something.
I've got things for you if you're interested.
She's actually feeling somewhat better. Patty shopped over this afternoon. And Patty wasn't the one that actually said, Heidi, all you guys, I told her I was gonna do that. And so she seems to be doing good. The bad thing is she's not gonna
Chapter
love it.
17, yes, you can. You know,
Patty, why won't you?
change of terminology.
I certainly think she'd get around.
Setting light industrial,
Thank you.
commercial,
I appreciate that going
on
along.
that, except
I
it's already
got,
on
so
the historic
I just want to stay peripheral.
oh yeah,
That's just
that
terminology.
building more.
Well,
Well, I'll tell you what,